Horne-Ellstrom here, finally connected. It's been going round and round and round. Apparently, I don't have a good Wi-Fi connection. Hello, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Today, we're talking about how to investigate organizations to support in order to supersize and grow your business, especially with respect to contribution. We're focusing on contribution this entire month. How do we impact things outside of us, the outside world? How do we make the world a better place as we grow and build and supersize our business? And how do we use contributing and making the world a better place to be a competitive advantage for us? Because it absolutely positively is. Well, this topic reminds me very much of how do we decide who we're going to align with, who we're going to, join forces with in order to grow and build and supersize our business. Strategic partners, suppliers, vendors, even our customers. We get to choose who our customers are going to be with respect to building and growing and supersizing our business. Well, I'm going to share a 7-step process for investigating organizations, nonprofit organizations, etc., or global organizations, global, local, regional, in order to decide whether you want to spend any of your time and energy with and on those organizations. It's a quick 7-step process. We've talked about certain steps of it before, and we will continue to this month. It's that important that repetition breeds mastery. And so I'm going to cover a bunch of things in different ways throughout this month. Number 1, define your core values and priorities. We should have already done this, but ask yourself as an organization, what causes are closest to our heart? Do we want to support local, national, or global initiatives? We have to decide. We get to decide. And we can pick one area and then expand, or we can pick an area and then decide we want to contract and be more local than we do global, etc. Do you prefer what area of volunteering or making the world a better place is important to your organization? Education, environment, health, social justice, entrepreneurship, another sector. Me, obviously, it's entrepreneurship because I have a whole group called Supersize Your Business, which is this group, and I want to help other business owners not make the mistakes I made and make life easier, find ways to do things faster, easier, more efficiently, and effectively, and to make the world a better place. All right, step 2, determine the type of contribution that you can offer. Look at your organization, look at your skills, look at what people want to do, and then come up with a list of, okay, these are the things that we can offer to an organization we might join forces with. Is it financial? Is it volunteering your time, skills as an organization? Because there's a whole lot of skills that are involved in your business that could apply to different nonprofit organizations. Is it donating goods and services and resources? Is it offering your platform or network to nonprofits? Now, you might find that your system of defining processes is something that would be really good for a nonprofit. You could actually teach them how to use some of your systems, right? Or if you have a proprietary customer getting technology or technique or process or framework, you could teach that to them nonprofit and they could use that to find donors, things like that. Number 3, search for organizations using reliable databases. Nowadays with technology, it's so much easier to research things and find things out than it used to be. But use reputable databases like Charity Navigator, and I've not used any of these. I do it the old-fashioned way. I pick up the phone and call. But actually I do all these steps, but I just haven't used these 3 that were mentioned that they pulled up when I Googled. GuideStar by Candid and BBB, the Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance. Again, I have personal beef and thoughts about the BBB. The BBB is a business, people. It is not a charity, right? Keep that in mind. Number 4, step 4, evaluate the mission alignment and transparency of the organizations that you're investigating. Do they have a clear mission statement? Do they have detailed annual reports and impact statements? Are they transparent with their financial disclosures? Do they tell you, hey, we spend 20% on administration, 80% on the actual cause we're raising money for? Or do they try to hide that in flowery language and emotional appeals? And 4, look for testimonials and real stories of impact. Organizations that clearly communicate what they do and who they do it for and why they do it and how they do it are much more likely to use your resources, including time and energy, wisely and effectively. This is true of every type of organization. If your business isn't transparent and upfront and well managed and have a clear mission statement, you're going to struggle, and you're definitely not going to be supersizing yet. You can always create those things. Step 5, review ratings and external review sites. Look for them on the usual: Google, Yelp, Facebook, other social media platforms. See what people are saying about them. What are volunteers, beneficiaries, and donors saying about this organization that you're investigating? Look for accountability and financial metrics. Look for sustainability and leadership structure. Look for community engagement. Are they engaged in the communities that they're supposedly serving? If not, red flag. Step 6. I need more fingers. Reach out directly. Now, before the internet, which I was around long before the internet, we had to get on the phone, or we had to actually go to the place and their offices and engage with human beings. But a quick email or quick phone call will let you know whether they're currently accepting volunteers or donations. There are organizations, local ones more than national, that have to shut down. My mom is involved with a charity in her hometown in Texas, and every once in a while they have to stop taking donations because they run out of physical space and capacity to store and put all the things that are donated. That's common. That's why Goodwill only has certain hours that they take donations, because otherwise they'd be overrun and would have too many things. The openness to questions, transparency is key. Are they transparent? Are they open? Huge lessons learned for your organization here. And this is that similar process that you use when it's actually probably the same process I use when I am searching out, and people come to me all the time and say, hey, would you, work with us on this, or work with us, or join forces with this, or be on this summit. And I always have to go through this process of investigating it, right? And you do too. You don't have to, but it's like hiring somebody without researching their resume and seeing if the stuff on it's truth or a lie, or if it's, made up, or if they even are who they say they are on paper, right? We cannot take any more on face value or on paper that things are that they say they are. I mean, remember when you used to be able to look at a picture on the internet and on social media even, and you knew it was real? Well, now I don't even know what the percentage of AI generated photos and stories are on the internet. You used to, be able to believe what you saw, but sometimes we can't even believe that anymore, which is really quite pathetic in my humble opinion. So reach out directly. And then finally, step 7, test the waters. Do a small thing with this organization that you've selected, and then build upon that, build upon the relationship. Just like when we pick a strategic partner, we don't necessarily partner up with them 50-50 or 70-30 the first time we do anything with them. We investigate, we do this whole process, and then we decide, well, maybe we'll do a small thing together. We'll do a summit together. I'll be on your summit. And then you see how that goes. And then you decide how the relationship's building and determine if you're going to invest more in that particular relationship or not. Same is true with our donating and things like that. So what are these red flags? I want to share a couple of red flags with you. I mentioned them as we were talking, but these are really critical red flags to stop. It's like a stop sign. A red flag to me is a stop sign. Stop, take a deep breath, and consider. And usually when I have to stop, take a beat, take a deep breath, I'm going to say no. And it's just from decades of experience, knowing that as soon as I get that indicator that something's off or wrong, I just turn and walk away, because it's not okay. And I don't want to be associated with an organization that is not okay. Lack of financial transparency. Look what that did to our government in the USA here. Lack of financial transparency has made a huge ass mess that has to get cleaned up. This is true of our businesses too. If you are not being transparent within your organization and how you act and how you respond and how you deal with situations with the rest of the world, your business will struggle. The days of evil are hopefully coming to an end. They won't come to an end. We live in a polar universe. There's always going to be good and evil. No clear leadership, structure, or accountability. Huge red flag. If you don't have leadership, accountability, and structure in your organization, you better get it fast. Thirdly, overly emotional appeals without data or impact stories. That would be an indication that it might be a money laundering scheme or fraud or fake. Organizations with poor reviews or unresolved complaints. Red flags. I say if you see any of these red flags, just look for something else. Go somewhere else. Don't waste your time and energy digging into something that's already given you an icky feeling. You can always use ScamWatch and the FTC's charity fraud reporting system if any of these things look off. But do you really need to? I say when you see these, you just say no. I do the same thing in business partnerships. If I suspect that somebody isn't being above board, I just say no. I wanted to share somebody's story. So I'm going to share Malik's story. He's an entrepreneur who backs future business leaders. And he runs a small e-commerce business in Atlanta. As a self-made entrepreneur, he wanted to help aspiring Black and Latino youth start businesses. So he started by listing his strengths, mentoring, access to networks, and business coaching. He Googled Atlanta Youth Entrepreneur Program's nonprofit and filtered this result using local business journals and LinkedIn reviews. So he did these steps, not maybe all of them in this order, but he did many of them. Eventually, he found Future Founders, an organization that supports minority youth and entrepreneurship. He reached out via LinkedIn to a board member and had a call with the director of engagement. Now Malik offers monthly coaching calls for teen entrepreneurs. He provides free Shopify setup services for selected students, and he donates a percentage of his monthly revenue in funds to startup grants. I think it's awesome. I think he's awesome. He's also been featured in their annual donor spotlight, which amplified both his reputation in business as well as their impact. So doing all the things that we're talking about here. So curious, have you, share in the comments below, a comment or a story, have you investigated the organizations that you choose to align with? Yes or no? And then if you want, you could share a lesson learned, or you could share a success story with us so we can learn from one another. All right. Have an awesome day. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.